Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today on the Divine Messages podcast. My name is Karina, and I am a psychic medium out of Calgary, Alberta. I have another lovely guest coming on here with me today. She is one of my students, and the way that we met is a little bit unique, and I would love to share her story with all of you. So, everyone, please help me welcome Roxanne to the podcast. Hi, Roxanne. How are you?
Hi, Karina. I'm very good. I'm excited to be here with you today.
I'm excited that you came on here with me today because the way that we met was a little bit different. And I really wanted to share how spirit can really, really guide us through everything and make things happen. When we think we're in control, it's so not in our control. It's in
Yeah,
someone else's hands, right? So,
yeah. Definitely learned that the last, what, 8 months, 9 months?
wow. Okay. Well, let's take everybody back in time to how we actually met because I guess it was around October, November of last year. I came out to Saskatoon to do a group reading. And yeah, so let's just take everybody back, Roxanne. How did you end up at that group that night?
Yeah. So how I ended up there is kind of crazy. I was at work. I think it was a Thursday or something, and I was asking my friend what she was doing over the weekend, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to see a psychic medium in Clovette." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go to a show or do that." And she's like, "Well, do you want me to see if there's any tickets left?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And so I don't even think I've told you this. She messages her friend because she's like, "I think it might be sold out." Anyways, there's one ticket left. And she's like, "Do you want it? You got to get it right now." And I was like, "Yes, I want it. Like, here's my mom.
Wow.
I'm in. I'm coming." And so I got that ticket. And I don't know if it was the last one or not, but I was like, "That's amazing." And we get there. And I remember seeing you and making eye contact with you. And I was like, "I just want to meet her. I want to have a chat with her."
That's
And
crazy.
and then the event happened and it was amazing, and the messages that came through and watching you work is so incredible. And then you were just saying, ask if you have anybody that you want to come through. And in my head I was asking, and we went through the evening and it was closer to the end, and you're like, "Okay, we're going to wrap up soon. I might do two or three more um, readings, so if you want somebody to come through, ask them." And then you read for somebody else, and you're like, "Okay, one more." And in my mind I was asking, and silently to myself, I said, "Please, it would be so cool to meet you." And as I was saying that, you like turned in your shoes and you looked straight at me and you were like, "What did you just say?"
Oh, really?
And I
Don't
just,
remember that.
yeah. And then you don't, yeah. And then I was like,
No.
I said, Please." And you're like, "Yes, I heard you."
Oh my God. But you said it in your mind, right? Like not out loud.
No, just in my mind.
In your
Yeah.
mind. Okay, because now my version of this is that during that event, there's so many people in the room and I'm channeling and I'm reading for everybody. And every time I would look over at you, I was like, whoa, she's so strong. So I'd have to look away. I couldn't make eye contact with you. And something was like pulling me towards you, but then I would kind of come closer and then I'd turn. I was like, nope, can't. You just are so strong. And to me, hearing that you bought that ticket last minute and we were sold out. And so magically one appeared. I think that's definitely when we know spirit put you there because I could feel
Hmm.
your energy the whole time. I was like, what's up with this girl? She's so strong. And so all I can remember in my mind was at the end looking at you and saying, oh my God, you have this. You're one of us. Like, I know you can do this. And I'll talk to you later or
Hmm.
something. And that was the beginning of our story.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then I was the last person that you read for in that session, which was really cool too. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I got this last ticket." And then I was the last person that you read for, and you gave me an incredible reading from my grandma, who I never met. She passed before I was born. And the things you shared were just incredible. I was just like in awe. And I was on such a high after, and I was like excited to tell everyone. And then the next day, my mom's like, "So how was the event?" And I was like, "Oh, it was great." And she's like, "So you met my mom?" Because I think my mom has what we have too. And I was like, "I
Of course.
did." And I just started crying because it was like, that was, yeah, it was just so touching and so moving.
Wow, my
But
hair
yeah,
is
at the end of,
standing.
mhm. And then at the end of the reading that you gave to me, is, yeah, you said, like, "You can do what I do. Come talk to me after." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
I guess I'll talk to
And
this crazy lady. Yes.
yeah. And so, yeah, I waited. There was lots of people that wanted to talk to you, and we ended up getting to chat a little bit. And you gave me your card, and you said, "Give me a call." And I called you on that Monday, and I think you invited me to the mediumship classes that you have. And so, yeah, the event was on Saturday. I think I called you on Monday, and I joined the mediumship classes on Wednesday.
Oh my gosh. Was it like
So,
that? I don't remember. That's
yeah,
crazy. That's so fast.
it, yeah, it happened so quickly, so quickly.
That's when you
But it
know.
all just felt so right. Like it's just, yeah. And leading up to that point, I was in a position in my life where I was like asking for some guidance, and I just was feeling a little bit lost, and that I didn't wasn't in the right spot, or I don't know. I just needed some guidance, and I was asking and asking and asking, and then boom, this all just unfolded so magically. But like you said, spirit is guiding us all.
Well, and I think that's what's important when there's so many people that have this ability. We all do, really, but there's so many of us that have to do this for people and others and share it because we all need guidance. And when I do usually events like that, like it's happened twice now, once with another student of ours that's in the mediumship class and you. And
Mhm.
I just saw it right out of, 100 people. I looked right at you and went, oh my God, I know you could do this. And it's because you were supposed to be there, and Spirit said, hey, she needs to go to this to watch how I work and see how this
Mhm.
all transpires. And then it makes sense. It's like something clicks in your brain of, oh my God, I can't explain this, but I feel like I can do this. And then next thing you know, here you are channeling, and you're incredible. I just saw you in the last class, what you did. And I know that it takes a lot of guts to come into these classes and really be so open and trust what you're getting. But you were just spot on. And the girl that you were reading for, you just made her bawl her eyes out. It was just what you said.
Mhm.
I can't share exactly her personal reading, but you said something so specific that nobody in the world could know but her and her family. And she just
Mhm.
lost it. And I was like so proud. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's the validation I
Oh.
want you all to do. It was amazing. So I'm so proud.
Yeah, that you share in the classes like how you started, and you're not gonna get it right, but keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. And I just feel like I go to those classes and I'm like, okay, show it, show me, and I'm getting it wrong, getting it wrong, and getting it wrong. So it feels so good when
Clicks.
I guess it clicks, yeah, and you trust, and to be able to share and give that gift to others
And that's
is
why
amazing.
yeah, we do this for so many reasons. And it's so beautiful to watch someone all of a sudden like it click for them, like for me as a medium, and I have someone read for me. When someone says something that nobody in the world could know, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just, my mind is completely blown, like this is amazing, and I do readings
Hmm.
all day, but having someone read for me is just incredible. And I sit there going, it's just amazing how this works. I can't believe how real this is. It's, I don't know, it's hard to explain to the people that really don't understand how the other side works and how we can communicate. But that's one of the reasons why I want to have you guys on as students. Like I've had many students on here to share those stories
Hmm.
of how this works. Because if we all just understood that we can communicate with the other side, every single one of us, it would make us feel less alone. And we can get through anything in our lives if we just know that we have full support from another realm.
Hmm. And I've just leaned into that so much this last, like since meeting you and asking for that guidance. And it does lead you right to where you need to go. And just trusting that is just so, it's humbling, and it's also just so comforting that you're not alone. Even if you do feel alone, there's so many people and guides and spirits just helping you along the way.
It's amazing. And you also came out from Saskatoon all the way to Calgary for your Reiki.
Yeah,
And
so that was in November. So that was another amazing. It just felt so right. In the mediumship classes, I was kind of asking questions, and I think you went to the group and you're like, "Do you guys do you guys see how strong and she is?" And everyone put up their hands, and then you're like, "Well, I'm doing a level 1 and 2 training in November," and I was like, "That's in like a couple weeks." I was like, "Okay." Um, and it wasn't like things weren't adding up, and it was just like not looking like I was going to be able to go. And then everything just changed. Yeah, I was in a relationship that wasn't going to allow me to have this chance to go to the Reiki training, and
Hmm.
then that ended up changing and ending the weekend before, and I was like, okay, I'm in. And I remember just like asking for again that sign. I was like, what should I do? And I was looking out the window, and I think it was like a full moon, and I was like, just show me something. And then I turned around and came and looked at the clock, and it said 5:55, and I was like, okay, I hear you loud and clear. And I think
That's
I
right.
texted you, and I was like, Karina, I'm in. I'm coming next weekend. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
And it magically unfolded in front of you. Like everything was just laid out so easily in a sense. And
Yeah.
I just look
And
at
it,
how spirit does that. It's amazing.
yeah. And I mean, there was like those challenges or roadblocks that could have been roadblocks to get to that training that weekend. And the weather just took a mad turn that afternoon when I was driving there. And I remember like not being able to see the
Oh my
snow, and
God.
the snow was so bad. And I just remember like blowing in the air, being like, okay, I'll just blow the snow away. Like I'll get there, I'll get there. And I was totally guided to you so safely. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, there's a bigger spirit, a bigger thing at play here to helping me get to Calgary to do this training that
It's
I'm meant
amazing.
to do. Yeah.
And look at where your life is now. I look at you and I see a big bright light around you finally. I know that when you came for Reiki, there was some stuff going on personally, and it was what you had to go through to be who you are today. But I think I came out again in, was it March or so, and to work in Saskatchewan
Hmm.
again. And you let me use your beautiful house to work out of, which I was so grateful for. But I came into your space and I went, oh my gosh, like who is this girl? Like compared to what I saw when I first met you and what you were going through during the Reiki class to where you were at that moment at your house, I was like, this is beautiful. You just looked so free and so happy, and you have such a Zen house and room to work and do Reiki out of. I just think you've come so far in such a short period of time. And I chalk that all up to spirit. Look what they did to guide you to where you need to be.
Hmm. And just looking back on how it's all unfolded, and I just like told you that when you came in March or April, like I know spirit's guided, but you just changed my life and have offered me such a channel that I was looking for. That's opened up so many doors, and I've got to meet so many incredible people through our mediumship classes and through the Reiki training, and another great group of women when I came back to do my Reiki Masters. And it's just such a supportive, amazing community that
Great
you've
community.
created. Yeah.
I'm so, so grateful for that, honestly. Like, I think over the years of doing this work, I felt when I first started myself, I felt that I had a great community around me. And then it kind of dwindled away very quickly. They all just dispersed, everybody went their own way. And I felt very alone after. And I wanted to create a community that everybody felt that they could pull out of it for a couple of months and come back without judgment. And if they needed help, that there was always someone there to support. And that's one of the greatest gifts, I think, especially with our Reiki group. There's so many people in that group online. And whenever someone's going through something, all they do is ask the group, hey, I could use some Reiki or some healing. I'm going through this. And everybody jumps on it. And it does work. It's amazing what group
Hmm.
healing can do.
Hmm. And I think that's, I mean, how this has all happened so quickly, and that I've grown so much in a short amount of time is just like the support and the healing that surrounds me.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah, it's I'm just, I feel speechless because it's hard to put into words.
It really is. It changed my life, and I know exactly what you mean, and it's hard to articulate that to everyone else. It's like, who would have thought before, right, this happened? Let's just say go back before the group session that we
Hmm.
did that night, that show. Who would have thought that you would be, oh, guess what? I'm working as a medium now, right? Like, I
Yeah.
never thought that even when I go back in time to when I started. I went to a psychic in Calgary just to get some help, and he changed my world. My entire life changed the day that I met Durek. Everything changed.
Mm,
And next thing I know, I'm doing Reiki, which again, I thought I was doing Reiki for myself. I thought that I was going to just heal my life. I had no idea that I would be working as a psychic medium and a Reiki master. And I would never have thought that. I honestly thought I was going back to retail.
mm.
When my kids were older, I was like, I'll just go back to retail and get discounts at stores. But nope, I just talked to the dead. It's okay.
Way cooler.
I guess it is. It is. And even when I go back and think about that night that we met at that event, when you were sitting there and you saw how people's loved ones were coming in, did it even hit you that night that you could possibly do that? Or what were you thinking?
No, I didn't have that feeling at all. In my past, I guess looking back, I've always kind of felt spirit. My past condo that I had, I definitely had spirit there that were maybe not the friendliest spirit, and they'd wake me up at night and they would move things around in the house. And I had a roommate at the time, and I remember one morning she's like, "Was somebody here last night?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "You kept asking somebody to leave." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that was that was this
My
guy that watches
God,
over my bed and like wakes me up at night." And
what?
yeah, and I was like, I must have just been asking him to leave to get out, because he would just linger in the house, and it was
Ugh.
so crazy. And so you feel that. And then I remember I was on a trip one time and I met this group of women, and they were there. She was supposed to be on that trip with her husband, but he had passed, so she came with her girlfriends. And I just remember getting such a strong feeling of his presence. And I was like, what is happening right now? Like, what do I tell her? This is so bizarre.
Right.
Um, because I never had something like that happen before, but his presence was so strong. So there's been like little things kind of through my life of spirit or having that presence, but just I think I pushed it away or didn't acknowledge it because I didn't know what to do with it.
I think most people push it away because also it's a little bit weird and freaky, in a sense,
Yeah.
because it's like, am I actually feeling that or am I going crazy? That's what we do. We start to go through our minds like, maybe I'm making it up. Maybe I'm nuts. No, no, no. I
Yeah.
really felt that. No, I didn't. Like we just go back and forth. It's like a ping pong.
hmm
And
And then to go up to somebody that you have no idea who they are and be like, so your husband just told me this. It's like
now I look
feel
crazy.
total, yeah, feel totally crazy.
That's funny that you say that because I think about like even when I first started this work, I can't imagine just walking up to someone and being like, "Hey, I see your dad. He's behind you." Like, but now I'm, at that event, just for an example, I said, a little bit about myself in the beginning, and I went right to the back of the crowd and beelined it to this girl. And I was like, I see this. And she was just like, oh, and she just starts sobbing. And I'm like, I would never
Yeah.
in a million years thought that I would ever number one, have the confidence to do that or trust that I was seeing these spirits everywhere and blurt something out that could be so personal. I don't know. It's
hmm
just, it's hard to wrap my head around as well. I still can't wrap my head around it. And I've been doing it professionally for over 12 years. It's crazy.
hmm
How can we ever get
Yeah.
used to this? I don't know.
Yeah. And I've been doing it for such a short time and it's still
Mind blowing.
mind mind blowing.
I think you're
And
going
then
to
when
say that
you
forever.
yeah, and then when you get a message and you share it and it's like I have no idea why I'm seeing cigarettes right now or whatever it is and they're like, "Oh my gosh." And then you say something else and it's incredible to see their faces light up or like the healing that they get or the gratitude. It's amazing.
It's beautiful to watch. And I find that, and I'm sure you're going to say the same thing after that validation hits and that person really truly understands that it is their loved one. When they start getting emotional, we can't help but be emotional as well because it's like I can't believe that this is so real. And I say this to
Mm,
Nick all the time. Like after a session, he's like, how'd that go? I'm like, I just have no words. And he's like, how are you still so amazed by this? You do this all day. I was like, but I don't think we can ever not be amazed. It's hard to wrap your head around that someone who has passed and what most perceive as gone, when you realize that they're not gone and you can hear them and see them and smell them and go into their house that they grew up in and teleport back in time, how can you not sit here and be completely mind blown and amazed? It's impossible.
hmm.
I don't know how
Yeah.
to ever just get used to it. I know I do it all day, but I still will say this to you. I can't get used to it. It's just, I'm so, I don't know. I'm also speechless. I don't know. And I'm
Yeah.
rarely speechless, you should know from class. But I just, it's hard to sit here and go, I can't believe that from being a child who was terrified of spirits like that guy that was in your room, that's all I ever
Yeah.
experienced, to now finding it beautiful and not scary. And I realized that I think over the years that I was so afraid to ever tap into that world because of how scared I was, and to
Hmm.
realize that the people that we love that are on the other side will never scare us. People will say to me, like, hey, Karina, can you come clear my house? I think my grandmother's like running up and down the stairs and like slamming doors and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Your grandmother would not scare you like that. They wouldn't be slamming doors. They might run up and down
Hmm.
stairs and make their presence known, but they're not going to slam the doors to scare you. Like if you ever get that creepy feeling where something in your gut feels like icky, that's when you know it's not your loved one, because our loved ones on the other side will come forward with that warmth and a positive feeling. You will feel the energy change in the room, but in a good way. If the energy
Hmm.
changes in the room when your hair's standing and it's ice cold and you just feel off, it's definitely not your loved one. They don't want to,
Yeah.
they don't do that to us for sure.
No, that's a different spirit, and we can ask them to leave and clear the space. Hey.
Hmm. And I think when you guys come to class, I see how important it is to teach all of you guys or show all of you guys how it's okay to channel without the fear, because I think most people are just terrified that they're going to unlock something that they don't want to
Hmm.
unlock. But if we do it in a safe way, it is completely loving and wonderful. And there's nothing to be scared of at all.
Hmm. And I like have met people that I think there's a lot of fear of the messages that come up, or is it going to be something bad, or is that a projection of something bad that's going to happen, or is and I don't know. I just ask spirit to guide through love and through light and to deliver messages of love. Um, I don't I don't want to see the bad stuff either. So I ask for the good messages and the encouraging messages or the reassuring messages to come
Yeah.
through to help guide or to give some closure or peace to who I'm working with. And
Hmm.
it's not, yeah, it's not scary and it's not bad. And
I would say that most people that come to a session are coming in afraid, and I think they are terrified that I'm going to say something that is negative or dark or fearful. And I start right away with, just so you know, we are going to bring in the messages that are going to help you live your best life. I choose
mhm,
not to see anything dark or scary or anything bad that can happen, unless, of course, it's a warning that will help you on your path, that, you can, instead of going left, you go right, because of free will.
mhm,
That's the only way. I don't want to see anything scary either, because I don't want to work like that. I want to help people live their best lives. This is what you need to heal. This is what, Spirit says that would be good for you to try to change your eating habits, things like that. But I don't want to say, hey, in 3 months from now, I see you in a really bad accident. Like, I know some psychics do that. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like going to psychics in my younger years. I really didn't, to be
mhm.
honest. I hate to admit that, but I didn't, because I know there's a lot that will say this can go wrong or this I see happening. And it's like, oh my God. Then it puts so much fear in someone, and then fear attracts fear. And I
Yeah,
don't want people to manifest something that could be avoided.
yeah. I agree. And it's, yeah, there's so much light to give to help people heal and move forward. I don't want anyone to ever come or have that feeling of fear and leaving scared of what's going to happen or
Hmm.
what's unfolding in front of them. I just want everyone to leave feeling,
Lighter.
yeah, lighter and that
Positive
there's,
or mhm.
yeah, there's possibility and growth ahead.
Right. And hopeful that no matter what the journey is, that they can navigate through that with their guides and know that they aren't alone. And I've had some clients come to me and say, "Oh my God, I went to this psychic here and they told me that this is going to happen." And I was like, "Look, you have free will. We can't change certain things about what is destined, but there are pathways that you could choose. You can go left or you can go right. So if that's what was told to you, let's bring in your guides, bring in all the positivity and all your angels and go left. Turn left, don't go right, you know? And we can guide people through that. But I think there's some psychics who do see things that are negative I don't know. I guess I'm one of those people. I don't want to hear that I could get into a car accident because then that's all I'm going to focus on. And instead of
Hmm.
changing the path, I'm going to focus on it so much and it's going to happen. I don't want
Yeah,
that.
it's gonna create that.
And we don't want to do that as healers. Like we aren't just psychic mediums, we're healers. And we want people to go the best route that they possibly can and live their best life. And yes, there's bumps in the road for all of us. It's part of living and the lessons we need to learn. But at
Hmm.
least if we go through with faith rather than fear, and we talk about fear all the time on the podcast with every guest that comes on. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It can really trick your mind into believing that something bad's going to happen. And if you see it like that in your mind, you can manifest that. And it's like
Yeah.
I just don't want everybody going into fear mode. Go into faith mode, blind faith. I don't know what's up ahead, but all I know is that my guides are protecting me and guiding me. And whatever happens, I can't control life to, you know, make things go my way all the time. But I'm
Hmm.
trusting that someone's lighting the way for me and I can get through anything because I know I'm not
And
alone.
yeah, there's always spirit guiding.
Hmm. Question for you. So after you have, come to so many classes, actually, you've been to, I think, almost every single one. I don't think you've missed one since you started, really. How do you feel about like the trust factor with what messages are coming through to you now, as opposed to when you first started? Like, do you feel that it's a knowing, like a deep knowing, and you just blurt it out? Do you hesitate before you say it, or do you just trust that this is what I got and you blurt it out to the other student?
I think there's still some fear or ego that gets in the way, and I second guess. But I'm seeing more clearly to trust that that is the message, or that that's what I'm being guided to seeing or hearing, and then just letting it go. And I think not second guessing myself as much. So if I see something, then I trust that that's it. And the more I trust, then the clearer the messages and the images come.
That's a good point. So you clairvoyantly see it like I do, right? Like in your mind's
Hmm.
eye, right? It comes as like a little flash of something, but you also
Yeah.
hear, right? You hear too.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's neat when you get all these clairs working all together.
All together. And then just like a knowing, like you said, it's something like you see it and hear, but then you just like just a knowing in your gut that, yep, that's what it is. Because I don't know exactly how to vocal or put that into words either. Like it's all just so magical. I'm not sure what the word is to be able to describe that feeling.
It's hard for everyone else around us to understand how we trust the messages coming in. And even for Nick, my husband, I sometimes will say things to him and I'm like, no, we shouldn't go into that place. And he'll look at me because he really wants to go. And he's like, nah, it's fine. And I go, it's not fine. Trust me on this. And I kind of look at him and I give him this, like, I know look. And he's like,
Hmm.
okay, fine. And he's like, all right. And I know it's hard for him to understand all the time, but I always do trust that gut feeling. And there was an example, like this is years ago before he really understood how much to trust me, but our kids were very young and we went to this wedding in I think it was in Canmore. And at the end of the wedding, we had a hotel in town, and my kids were really quite young. I can't remember how old they were at the time, but Nick had had a few drinks, so he was ready to go to the hotel and pass out, and I had not had any drinks. So I take the kids, I drive to this hotel, and we pull up to it, and I got that I don't know, like a sick feeling. And it was probably about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. And the kids were feeling strange as well. And we started to go up the stairs because it was like, it looked kind of like a motel, but it's not a motel. Like the doors are on the outside. And we get up to the door, and I could just see both of my kids' faces. They just looked scared. And so we
Hmm.
go into the hotel room, and Nick, of course, lays down and he's just like ready to pass out. He takes off his clothes, he jumps in the bed. He's like, I'm going to bed. And I'm like looking around the room, and I did do some Reiki to it, but it was really bloody weird. I was like, I could not settle down in the room. And both of the kids were like, Mom, we can't stay here. I don't like this feeling. And I was like, holy, they're actually picking up on exactly what I'm seeing and feeling as well. And I thought, how can I be the best mom and not honor what they're feeling? So I sat there for a few minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 1:30 in the morning. We live, 2 hours away. I don't know what to do, but I could not shake that feeling, Roxanne. It was just
Hmm.
eerie. And I felt like my skin crawling. The room smelt like of a weird, I don't know if I can describe it, but, and I think you would understand that smell. It's just an odd smell, like just
Hmm.
dark energy. And so I was like, I have to honor the boys. They are terrified. So we're going. I'm going to drive us home. And so I wake up Nick. I'm like, come on, we got to go. And he's like, oh, I'm not going anywhere. They're fine. I said, they are not fine. Get in the car and we're going. I said, I'm driving. So he was like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. So he gets his clothes on and we pack up our stuff and we go down to the car. And my youngest and him went into the back seat and passed right out. And my oldest son, who was still really young at the time, sat in the front seat and talked to me the entire ride home. He's also intuitive. And I knew that he was feeling that I was doing this to honor them and to protect
Hmm.
them. And so the poor little guy, he stayed awake the entire time and talked to me. And we got home safely. We jumped into our bed and everybody took a sigh of relief. But those are the things that we have to listen to because most people don't listen to that gut feeling. And I know it sounded crazy in the moment to Nick, but I had to trust it. And now, this is many years later, when I give him that look, he's like, okay, okay. He knows I'm seeing or feeling something that he can't. And he's much better at trusting that I can pick up on weird energy and he'll listen better now.
Yeah. And I think that's a big lesson that I've learned is trusting my gut. Because when you get those senses or you get that feeling in your gut, and I think for so long I passed it off or I pushed it down or just I wasn't paying attention and was like, no, this is what's got to happen or this will be okay. And I would go forwards with things, but then looking back, it's like, no, I had that feeling and learning how to trust that and this whole process and meeting you and it's getting kind of in tune with my own body again and trusting what I'm hearing, trusting what my gut's saying,
Mhm.
trusting whether to go right or left or forwards or backwards. Like it really connecting with myself and in turn the spirit to know what's right because I think the messages are there. It's just hearing them and then listening to them. And for so long I pushed them down and I didn't listen to them. So it's really reconnecting and I'm feeling like reconnected. And it's learning and it's a process every day, but it's amazing when you just trust a little bit more.
It is amazing, isn't it? Like if you have, let's be clear, not always are we going to listen to the gut feeling. We always have
Nope.
it. We always have it, myself included. We always have it, but there's times where we ignore it. And then after we go, damn it, I knew, and I didn't trust it. And it is frustrating, but I would say like what, 8 out of 10 now as healers and intuitives, we do trust the feeling. And maybe two of the times that we might just ignore it and disregard it, and then we're sorry after. But that's part of
Mhm.
learning too, right? We're human
Yeah.
and we have to make mistakes and or
And those are
that aren't
lessons
right.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, and lessons that we needed to learn, that
Hmm.
we chose that way instead of the other way. And that's like, okay, no, there was something for me to learn in that moment. So just approaching it with gratitude instead of beating myself up of why did I do that, or I learned the lesson and now I can move forward.
True, very true. And now, would you say that when you meet people, you get that instant gut feeling of they have, good intentions and good energy, or do you get the icky feel sometimes when you meet someone in bad vibes? Like, say you're in a parking lot. Let me give you an example. You went to a mall and you're walking out to your car. Do you ever get that, like, you see someone and you're like, uh-oh, this doesn't feel right feeling?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
say that you trust it more now than you would have before? Like, would you think, oh, maybe I was overthinking or I'm imagining it? You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
trust it. Yeah, I trust it more now. And it's stronger. Like going into a room, the energies of everyone are so heightened, if
Yes.
that's the right word to put it. And then, yeah, it's like, okay, I'm gravitating towards these people, or it's like, oh, I away from certain people. Yeah, you definitely feel it, or walking through a parking lot or just anywhere. Yeah, the energies are way more heightened
Hmm.
meeting people.
I think we should probably share with everyone who's listening who maybe is trying to understand that intuition and that gut feeling that we're talking about. Because how great would it be that we could inform everybody that our guides come to us to warn us of things that or danger. And so let's just say, for example, we were in a parking lot together and we come out and it's dark and all of a sudden we see somebody and we get that weird feeling in our stomach, like that ripple of fear almost. Our stomach starts turning and tightening. And it's like my body, I don't know about you, but my body will go into like almost like freeze mode. I can feel this weird sensation go up the back of my spine, in my stomach, and I start to feel on edge. That's when I know my guides are trying to tell me or warn me of danger of that person. Now, if I walk
Hmm.
out from the parking lot with you and we're talking and we look over and we see somebody and we're just calm, collected, everything's fine, you don't even get that weird feeling. We get in the car and we drive off and we're fine. That's our intuition just saying that everything's okay. But the warning is when your body stiffens up like that and your heart starts to race and your cheeks get flushed. That's when our guides are trying to warn us of something important, you know?
Yeah. And then to, I guess, just acknowledge it and hear it. Okay, so yeah, it is there and it's so clear, and just to listen. And I've learned a lot of that in the last, I mean, it's been a short time, but it's amazing how quickly you can get reconnected and attuned after pushing it down and ignoring it for so long.
Hmm.
It's the spirit will always be there. And even though it feels like I maybe ignored them or pushed it down for so long, it's they're still there and they're still helping and they're still guiding.
Well, most people ask me, what if no one's there for me or I don't feel anybody? Am I alone? I think most people are afraid to feel and they can block the energy of their guides and their loved ones because I think that's they want to feel it, but they don't, if that makes sense.
Mm,
So then they start to say, well, maybe there's no one there for me. I'm like, no, trust me. We all come into this world with guardian angels that are assigned to us at birth. And then we also have spirit guides who are humans that have lived on this side that cross over and become our guides for whatever we're going to go through in that time frame. So guides can switch. It can be 10 years of one guide and then another loved one or another guide will come in and help you through the lesson you're going to go through next 10 years later. Like, but we always have someone. They're always there. And most people feel that they're not. And that's why I keep doing these podcast episodes. I really want to make it clear that we aren't alone and we can live a much better life. We can't stop the bad stuff, but we can react to it better. We can live a much better life knowing that we can tap in, trust that gut feeling, and change the path a little bit. Or, like it's not that changing the path sounds weird, but we have certain things that we have to achieve that we signed up to go through.
mhm.
Now, there's other things that will happen that we created through free will. And so I guess no matter what we're going to go through, our guides are always there to whisper in our ear, Karina, not the best decision you're going to make here tonight. Like, pay attention. And I go, whatever, and I go and do it. And then after, I'm like, oh my God, I knew better. They warned me and I didn't listen. And we're all going to go through that. It's just, it's part of it, right? It's part of learning and
Mhm.
stuff, but we can do it with much more ease and comfort, knowing that even if we don't listen and we screw up or we go through something terrible, like they didn't just abandon us. And I think, I don't know about you, but for me, I struggled with feeling that my guides had abandoned me in the very beginning of this journey because a lot of weird, bad things had happened. And I thought, you guys aren't there. Nobody's helping me. You said you're all there to protect me and you didn't. And I got frustrated. I felt alone and I felt that I was doing all of this work on myself and trying to help others. And I got angry at Spirit for not being there for my family. And oh, Roxanne, there was this time frame in the very beginning. It was probably the first year or two into my journey. And I felt that they failed me. And it nearly put me over the edge, to be honest, because I thought that I
Mhm.
had this insight and that they were really going to be right by my side. And I felt that they failed us. And what I realized was I had to go through that experience because I had to teach about it. I had to go through it to be who I am today. And I not grateful for the lesson because it was a terrible lesson, but I do
Mhm.
understand why it needed to happen. And now I know that through the bad things, that they didn't leave my side, that this was something I have to go through. And I try not to be angry anymore about those lessons because I know this is the journey. And it's hard to accept because people ask me that all the time. Well, if the guides were there and our angels are there, why did these bad things happen? And I understand that. I questioned it myself, but
Yeah.
I have a deeper understanding of it now after all these years of doing the work and also talking to them so closely and understanding that this is what we have to go through.
hmm The lessons that we need to learn. And I feel like on my journey, almost the opposite. Like I feel like I pushed them away and I pushed that the messages and I pushed it down and ignored it for so long. I'm like, are they going to come back? Because
Right.
I didn't open up to it and I closed off and shut that world out and wasn't listening to those nudges in my stomach and wasn't listening to the messages and I just was felt like I can do this on my own and then watching this all unfold over the last few months, it's like, are they going to come back? Like I ignored them for so long. Um, will they still be here to help me? And so trusting that, like you said, they're always going to be there, and there's new guides that come depending on the journey that we're on, or guardian angels. And so, yeah, and the feeling of them there is getting so much stronger, and the signs are showing up everywhere. And
Mhm.
so I'm just so grateful that my eyes and my world has opened up to this greater good.
It is a lot more comforting, right, to know that no matter what, there is something there and they will do their best to protect us as best as they can, except for the things that we signed up to go through.
Yeah.
And some people will argue that and say that's impossible. If you had these guides, they wouldn't let anything bad happen to you. But that's not how this works. You're going to go through this lesson. This person's going to really hurt you. You're going to hurt them. And this is what's going to happen. It's in the soul contract. And so they just are right there by your side, whispering in your ear, like, you can get through this. This is what you
hmm
signed up to go through. Hang in there. And oh, God, it's so hard some days. But on the other hand, it's also good to know that even through those hard times, they're holding us up and we can get through it. And it's like just one day at a time. We're all just trying to survive this crazy physical existence. It's tough here,
Yeah,
but we all signed up to come.
we did. We did. And the lessons, I mean, like you said, they're soul contracts. They're stamped on us when we come into this life and we will get through it. And with the help of each other and the help of spirit, we're all guided together on the path. And I think that's why I was guided to you to help me through this and have similar situations that we've been through and lessons that you've learned. And yeah, we're all connected.
We are. And I love the fact that we have each other. And even as a teacher, I'm so grateful to all of the students that, I don't know, just it feels like it is soul family. Everyone in the
Hmm.
group that comes in, I just feel so blessed every time I teach another person and they come into our little world. I'm so grateful because I know that it's not just for me, but it's for everyone else as well in the group. Like it's just wonderful to watch and be a part of. And I think going forward, what I'm teaching all of you, you will all teach others in the future here. And it's that domino effect. And I talk about that all the time. I love what we do as healers, what we do to someone, or it passes forward. And it's a beautiful thing. And let's just keep going. And I always say to you guys, help me heal this world. One person at a time, one person at a time, because we
One,
think that we can't make an impact, but we can. Even if you help that
yeah,
one person, that is enough. That's enough, right? If this episode helps one person, Roxanne, then we've done our job.
yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Well, Roxanne, I want to thank you so much for coming on here today with me and sharing what it's like to go through this experience and how to talk to your guides and spirit and helping everybody to trust that something bigger exists and our guides are there, our guardian angels are always there. And if we can tap into that, maybe life will be a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think just trust your stomach, trust your guides. Those nudges that you get every day are your guides speaking to you, and it's an amazing experience when you open up to it and start listening to those nudges. And I really enjoyed being on the podcast today. Thank you so much, Karina. That was really fun.
Thank you for coming on. And I want to thank you all so much for joining us today on the Divine Messages podcast. If you would like to book a reading with me, I can be reached at www.divinemessages.ca or on Instagram at Divine Messages 333 or at the Divine Messages podcast. Please bear in mind that the perspectives and opinions represented in this podcast are based solely on the Divine Messages interpretations. We can in no way be held responsible for the actions of our followers.